Welcome to the English podcast. First, we'll listen and learn to sharpen your listening skills with a conversation between Sarah and Jane. Then, we'll move on to Vocabulary Boost, where you'll master 5 key phrases with example sentences for everyday use. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Exploring Conversations, the podcast where we talk about everything from travel and culture to daily life and experiences. I'm your host, Sarah, and today I have with me Jack, a travel enthusiast who's been to over 20 countries. Jack, welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. It's great to be here.
So, Jack, today we're going to talk about travel. And of course, the amazing cultural experiences that come with it. Let's start with the first question. How did you get into traveling?
Well, Sarah, I've always loved exploring new places. I started traveling when I was about 18. My first trip was to Thailand, and I absolutely fell in love with the culture, the food, and the people. From that moment, I knew I wanted to travel more.
That's amazing. Thailand sounds like a great place to start. What did you find most interesting about the culture there?
Oh, there were so many things. But I think one of the most interesting aspects was the Thai way of life. They really focus on being peaceful and respectful. I loved their traditions, especially their festivals. The Songkran Festival, which is the Thai New Year, was something I'll never forget. The streets are full of water fights, and everyone just enjoys being with family and friends.
That sounds so fun. And it's great that the festival brings people together. You mentioned food earlier. What's your favorite food you tried in Thailand?
Definitely Thai noodles. It's such a simple dish, but incredibly tasty. It's made with stir-fried noodles, eggs, tofu or shrimp, and peanuts, with a bit of lime and chili. It's just a perfect balance of flavors. I've tried to make it at home, but it's never quite the same.
Haha, I can imagine. So, Jack, tell me about a place you visited that completely changed your perspective on the world.
That would have to be India. I went there a few years ago, and it was an eye-opening experience. The culture, the history, the spirituality, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. What really changed my perspective was seeing how people live. In many parts of India, life is simple, yet full of depth. There's such a strong sense of community, and it made me reflect on what's truly important in life.
Wow, that sounds profound. And India has such a rich culture, doesn't it? I've heard so much about the temples and festivals.
Yes, absolutely. I visited the Golden Temple in Amritsar, and it was incredibly peaceful. The calmness there made me realize how busy and noisy our lives are, and how sometimes we miss out on the small, beautiful moments. India really teaches you to slow down and appreciate life.
That's such a great lesson to learn. So, moving on a bit, if someone is planning their first international trip, what advice would you give them?
I would say, first of all, be open-minded. Every country has its own unique culture, and you should respect that. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Also, make sure to do your research. You don't want to miss out on key experiences like visiting museums, trying local foods, or exploring hidden gems.
That's great advice. And what about the language barrier? Do you find it difficult to communicate when you travel?
Honestly, it can be challenging sometimes, but it's all part of the adventure. In some countries, you can get by with English, but in others, learning a few phrases in the local language can really help. Even if you don't speak it perfectly, people appreciate when you make an effort.
That's true. I always feel like when you try to speak the local language, people are more willing to help. But, Jack, Do you ever get homesick when you're away for a long time?
Yes, I do. Being away from home for an extended period can be tough, but I've learned that it's important to stay connected with family and friends. I keep in touch with them through messages, and sometimes I even send postcards or small gifts from the places I visit.
That's a great idea. Now, I want to wrap things up with a fun question. If you could only visit one country for the rest of your life, where would you go and why?
That's a tough one, but I think I would choose Japan. I've been there a few times, and every time I go, I discover something new. The mix of tradition and modernity, the food, the gardens, it's just a place I feel at peace with. Plus, the people are incredibly kind and respectful.
Japan sounds like a perfect choice. I'd love to visit one day. Well, Jack, thank you so much for sharing your experiences today. I'm sure our listeners have learned a lot about travel and culture from you.
Thank you, Sarah. It was a pleasure being here.
All right, everyone. That's it for today's episode of Exploring Conversations. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more podcasts about travel, culture, and much more. See you next time. Now let's look at the key phrases to remember. Be open-minded. Keep an open mind when you experience new cultures. Sentence. When you travel, it's important to be open-minded and try new things. Step out of your comfort zone. Try things you're not used to. Sentence. Traveling to different countries can help you step out of your comfort zone and learn about new cultures. Make an effort. Try to do something, even if it's hard. Sentence. Even if you don't speak the local language well, people appreciate when you make an effort. Stay connected. Keep in touch with others. Sentence. I try to stay connected with my family through video calls when I travel for long periods. Mix of tradition and modernity. Combining old customs with new things. Sentence. Japan is known for its unique mix of tradition and modernity, especially in cities like Tokyo. If you enjoyed this content and want more, hit subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, and comment.